They say never meet your heroes. Should they say that about buying your dream car? So I bought this truck brand new off the lot in January 2023, and it didn't get delivered to me until March 2023. And if you watched any of my videos, you'll see that I have used the truck a fair bit, put it through its paces, as well as I just daily drive this vehicle. And obviously, I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago. Life has changed pretty dramatically, and there's some things that I love about this truck, and I still love about this truck. Things that I thought I loved about this truck that I no longer love about this truck, and there's just some general things that I don't like about it. And so in this video, I'm going to go over my general opinion on the 3rd generation Toyota Tacoma. Fun fact, did you know that car carpets can hold up to 4 pounds of dirt in a year? With the amount of stuff I drag in, dirt, rocks, mud, as well as having the kid in the back, I definitely believe it. And so that's why I'm super excited to showcase 3W floor mats. They reached out to support the channel, and I just installed them in my Tacoma, and I couldn't be happier. They cover way more of the floor than traditional floor mats with their raised edges, and it keeps everything contained. The surface also has these grooves that channel water and mud, so it doesn't pool at your feet. They're also made of this TPE material that's non-toxic and odorless and won't curl or crack even in harshest conditions. Cleaning them is stupid easy. You just whip them out, hose them down, dry them off, and throw them back in. Easy as that. They've got this non-slip backing that'll keep them secured in place, but also the front ones have the holes that allow the floor locks to just simply turn in place. These things are laser measured, and so they're a perfect fit for your make and model. Honestly, floor mats are one of those upgrades that you don't really think about, but I am super happy with these, and they really transform the interior of the vehicle. So thank you 3W floor mats for supporting the channel. I'll leave a link down below so you can check out 3W floor mats for your car or truck. So this is my 2023 Toyota Tacoma Trail Edition. Now the Trail Edition is a kind of a special edition. It was in between the off-road and the TRD Pro. More or less at the end of the day, what the truck comes with is just some appearance upgrades. The Trail Edition does come with the bronze accent TRD wheels as well as the TRD Pro grille. The Trail Edition also comes with the side step bars and the OEM roof rack and blackout badging and just blackout package inside, as well as with the TRD Racing shifter knob. Otherwise, nothing special about this truck. It's the Lunar Rock color. The stock suspension is like the TRD suspension, height and lift as the TRD Pro, but is just a no-name Tacoma Toyota brand. Now the first thing I'll say about this truck is that I love the looks of it. I love the design. In my opinion, Toyota did a great job. The designers did a great job. And even though this design is almost 10 years old, it still seems relevant, still sharp looking, and it still gets tons of comments. The other nice thing is that this is the last 3rd generation. By this time, they've basically ironed out all the problems that they had with the earlier versions of the 3rd gen. It's just a reliable, good truck. It also holds value, and I'll say that I did get offered from another dealer basically what I paid for it 2 years ago. So that's a good thing. Some of the other features that I really enjoy about this truck is that it's super capable off-road, even in stock form. This model comes with a rear locking differential, so you just hit the ceiling here and you can put it in 4 low. You get 4 low, 4 high, as well as the rear locking diff. It also comes with a 400 watt inverter on board and the bed lights inside the truck bed. The controls inside are not overly modern, so I like that all the controls are still buttons, but yet it has CarPlay through the wire only. It doesn't have the auto start, which is awesome, and otherwise the truck is just a truck at the end of the day. It does what it needs to do, and all the features, the infotainment, and the things that are on board, yes, they're slightly outdated to what's available nowadays, but I think they don't age the vehicle because every couple of years, technology just keeps getting better and changing, and so I think less is more in this application. Now, there's tons of other videos online about all the features and everything that comes with the truck, and I'm not going to be going over some of that, but it's nice to have the inverter, truck bed lights, traction control, all available down here. This is my aftermarket switch panel where I control my roof lights, DRL, and fog lights. And then down here is where you have your connection to your phone for Apple CarPlay. You got a 12-volt outlet and then ECT power, which essentially puts the truck in like a tow mode or just keeps the RPMs higher so it doesn't shift as much while you're towing. And then you got your climate controls up here on the top. The truck is push start and hands-free, which some of the features I do like, but some of them I don't, and I'll go over some of those right now. Mainly the first one is that there's so much beeping involved. I know it's a newer vehicle and there's safety involved, but if you have the door open and you start the vehicle, like I am going to do now, there's beeping when you start the vehicle every single time. And then when you turn it off, because I turned the truck off and the door's open, it's just gonna keep beeping forever. One quick tip, if you're annoyed by all the beeping with the Tacoma, you don't actually have to shut the door. You can just press this button here and it'll stop the beeping. Also, God forbid you're trying to hook up a trailer and you leave the door slightly open, right? Cracked open with your leg. You're just trying to line up that hitch. That beeping is just god awful, man. It would also be nice if you could turn the camera on without having to put the vehicle in reverse. Now, who cares about beeping? But honestly, when you're backing up and trying to hook up a trailer or you're in and out of the truck, it gets really annoying. The other safety features I don't quite enjoy is you can't lock the vehicle if it is running. So for example, if you wanted to leave it running and you had to run in somewhere, especially in Canada where sometimes in the winter it's like -40, you have to turn the vehicle off. So if I start the vehicle right now, right, the truck's gonna start, and now if I shut the door, there's more beeping, but it doesn't let me lock the vehicle, and then it just will keep beeping forever. Now, here's another one that sucks, and it's all gonna do with the hands-free access, right? You get a little dongle here, there's no key, and I had to get a remote starter installed. Yeah, I know this model truck doesn't come with a remote start from factory, but so if I start the truck with the remote starter, 1, 2, 3, the truck is running, right? And the truck is locked because I started with the remote starter. So if I wanted to leave the truck running while not being there, then I have to turn the truck off, start it with the remote control, and then I can leave. So the other safety feature that is kind of annoying is that if I start the truck with the remote starter and I go to open the door, the truck will turn off. And so if it's -40 outside, you know, you start the vehicle to get it nice and warm, you gotta turn it off, and then you gotta hop back in and turn it back on. I know those are little nitpicky things and they're safety features, but those little things are just kind of annoying. I know all modern vehicles are like that, but man, it's just kind of annoying. So truck cap, I do love it. It was ungodly expensive, but it was an awesome upgrade and is something that is essential for my needs. But I got the wind doors, aluminum wind doors on either side. On the driver's side, I have the contractor shelf, and that's where I have basically all my gear and all the stuff that I carry all the time, but I don't want in the cab of the truck. And it's also where I have all my electronics, my off-grid solar system, as well as my DC-DC charger to charge the house battery that I have on the truck. There's dual battery system. If you're interested in how I have this all set up for camping and overlanding, check out those videos. But yeah, so with the 5-foot box, I don't need a huge box for my truck. If I am hauling, you know, any toys, I have a trailer. The 5-foot box is completely fine with the truck cap, with the roof rails, because anything longer, I just put on the roof, right? I can put sheets of plywood up there, big steel bars, 2x4s, 2x6s, any lumber, things like that, my canoe, it all goes up there. And because the truck cap is flush with the top of the roof rails on the cab, I have plenty of ability to haul stuff up to like 20 feet long. Now, I love this truck for off-roading and daily driving. It's honestly, it's a nice vehicle to drive every day. But for longer family trips and growing families, car seats, kids, stuff, and passenger, they don't enjoy themselves. It's very cramped in the back seats, and I know the newer ones are even worse. If you have a kid, rear facing, but even forward facing, the passenger seat has to be basically mostly forward, which then crushes the passenger's knees against the glove compartment. So I'm 6 feet, and you know, if I was a passenger having to sit in this vehicle for extended periods of time, this would not be comfortable. This is actually better because the car seat is forward facing. When it was rear facing, it had to go all the way up to the front. So as you know, an adult, it's not completely enjoyable to be in that passenger seat if you have kids in the back. And then comes The back seat, when you have the car seat, it's super cramped, as well as if you have more than one, then, you know, space is even getting more and more and more cramped. Also, if you have a dock, like all those things, which I do have, those things are becoming a little bit more challenging on longer road trips. All right, now let's talk about fuel economy. So this truck is a 2023 with 40,000 kilometers on it, and my golly, this thing is a pig. This truck is a 3.5 liter V6, and I came from a 4 liter V6 Ford Ranger.
I know that truck, that's a Ford Ranger!
This truck is essentially the same. Daily driving, I can get it to be around 16 liters per 100. On the highway, I can get it down to 13 if I am really driving slow on smaller country roads. But if I am towing my small trailer, or if I'm driving on those larger interstate, you know, open highway roads, this thing is just a gas guzzler. Now, I know it's a truck and I didn't buy it for fuel efficiency, but the fact that my almost 20-year-old Ranger got the same fuel mileage as this brand new truck, it's kind of astonishing, and I'm lucky if I get 400 kilometers to a tank of gas. Kind of sucks for longer road trips. You have to stop every 400 kilometers or before every 400 kilometers, and there's likelihood chances that if you're on a road trip, you're doing a lot more than that. And I often don't stop every 400 kilometers if I don't have to. So I probably wouldn't have as much of an issue if it just had a bigger fuel tank, but the 75 liter tank on this truck, as well as just it being pretty inefficient, makes longer road trips just not that enjoyable. And don't get me started if you're even towing anything, the fuel economy just even drops further, lifting the truck up, putting bigger tires, carrying more weight, more camping gear, stuff like that. You're just punching those numbers down and down even more. A few items that I'll be comparing the 2023 Tacoma against the 2015 4Runner. So these are, you know, within the same era. Obviously the 4Runner is a lot older, but I must say the 4Runner has got some pros to it that the Tacoma, the brand new Tacoma, doesn't have. First one I'll go over here is the hood. So if we pop open this bad boy, you have to use that little metal rod, right? There's no gas strut assist. Small little thing, but if I go to the 4Runner on a vehicle that is literally 10 years old, it has gas strut lift assist. Won't you look at that? Isn't that handy? This thing has over 240,000 kilometers on it and hasn't skipped a beat. The other thing is 4Runner's got a nice little design on the fuel thing here so that you can hang your fuel cap so it doesn't dangle, wreck your paint. Small little thing. Yeah, there's a bunch of aftermarket ones available for the Tacoma because, you guessed it, it doesn't come with one. You know, they have some that you can buy and put it here. Frankly, I just hook it into the thing there and it stays. But small little things like that, you think they would have just carried over from a similar generation 4Runners. This is an SR5 technically. Obviously the SR5 doesn't have the leather seats on the Tacoma, whereas on the similar model for the 4Runner, it's got leather seats. It's got the blinkers inside the rearview mirrors and just, you know, a few more add-ons, the sunroof, things like that that the SR5 came with on the 4Runner, but doesn't come with the Tacoma. So interesting little tidbits comparison there. Now, this truck isn't fast by any means. It's not a race car. One thing I did get done early on after buying the truck is get the OTT tune, and that definitely helped with the 6-speed transmission because it was just gear hunting all the time on hills, or if I'm towing, or if I have it in cruise control. It was just gear hunting all the time, and gear hunting is essentially the truck just bouncing between gears, and it's really annoying. So OTT tune definitely helped. It's just a fancy computer program code that gets put into your, you know, the computer of the truck, and it just reprograms the transmission of when to shift and the RPMs and just makes it a little bit better in that sense. It didn't improve my fuel efficiency at all. It just made the truck a little bit more enjoyable to drive. All right, the day has come. I just got 5 of these tires dropped off. Brand I've never gone with before. After a ton of research, spending way too much time pondering what size tire to go with, these 3rd gen Tacomas are kind of difficult to actually fit larger tires without doing major suspension work and spending thousands of dollars. The stock tires that came with the truck, these are garbage. They need to go. They're worn out and they will not make it through the winter. You can see this back tire here is already starting to get very low, and they've been terrible. One of my big complaints with the stock tires is just the performance. So these are the new tires that I ordered. They are Yokohama Geolanders MT. They're G003 model, and these are 255, 85, R16 10-ply mud terrain tires. They're pretty heavy duty, as you can see, very aggressive, and are super skinny. So these are what the online community world would call pizza cutters, and after all my research, these should fit on the truck without any major suspension modifications and spending thousands of dollars on that. I can use the stock rims, which I love. I love these Heritage rims, and that was important to me. So these were the tires I decided to go with so I can get more lift on the truck. Decided to go with this just because I want to save myself from having to do some major upgrades to fit larger tires. So I'm gonna have to get the truck in to the shop and get these mounted. All right, I just got the truck back from the shop, gave it a little bath, and man, it is crazy what a set of tires can do to a vehicle. Look how good this truck looks. Man, they are definitely skinny, but they fit, no problems. There's a bit of rubbing at full lock here against the mud flaps. You see it barely just touches here, but otherwise tires look great on the truck. Really happy with that, and I know my fuel economy is going to go definitely downwards, but hey, I didn't buy a Toyota for fuel economy. This is miles per miles we're after here. New mud terrain tires will definitely be served good use for the truck for as long as I own it. One thing I really like about this platform is that there's a ton of aftermarket support and modifications, and really there's so much available, so you can really customize the vehicle and modify it to your own liking. I've gotten a ton of questions about how I mounted the roof lights on my truck, and so this is using Oxbeam's VMAX pod lights, and as you can see, they have the DRL on right now. Nice low set lights. I got 6 of them, and so I wired them together to essentially make a Baja inspired roof rack light system on a budget. I have a DIY wire loom here that I've just finished in this like flexible conduit, and that runs to essentially a roof rail system that uses aluminum extrusion, and then I attach those to bracket bars that are actually made for a light bar, a solid light bar, and I just modified it so I can fasten the aluminum rack to this bracket, and that seems to be working and holding up pretty good, nice and solid. And these lights are very, very bright, so nice bright lights for some off-roading at night. Haven't used them that much. Honestly, it's more for looks than anything, something that I wanted on this truck, and it's not for everyone. And the other modifications on the truck are the DIY roof rack that I built for the cap of the truck, and that's using the same bars, the same system that I have running the roof lights on the front. That's working really good, has served its purpose. On the tailgate here I have the Adventure Trail Gear Garb bag, and that's a great little addition unit, and it serves as a overland trail unit bag, and it will pivot down when you open the tailgate and act as a nice little trash bag when you're setting up camp. This bag has been on the truck full time for over 2 years, and it's still holding up really nice. Good quality product, made in Canada. Highly suggest you check them out if you're interested in a trail bag for your tailgate or your spare tire on your overland rig. Alright, so that summarizes the updates on the truck. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so that you don't miss out on future videos. I have a ton planned, super excited updates. That's it for now, folks. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and on to the next one.